Orkambi! What's up, you guys? It's been a minute. I still get comments on my YouTube videos about my Orkambi updates, and I actually just had someone message me asking for a 6-month update. I stopped for a minute though, and I was like, there's no way I've been on Orkambi for 6 months. Backtracked, and what do you know? It has been 6 months on Orkambi. Now, I'm not going to get really back into the first month. Yeah, there were a lot of side effects that I got over. If you want to see those, then you can go click this link right here, and it will take you back to day 1 of Orkambi, so you can kind of see the first 30 days and what all went on then. So I'm just going to pick it up right at the most asked question, which is, how has Orkambi helped you? The pros and cons, did it live up to the hype, did it not live up to the hype, all that good stuff. You know, after all the side effects went away with Orkambi, which was pretty much after the first month, I've been side effect free. After they all went away, you know, I didn't really notice anything crazy, other than if you look back at my update video, I went hiking and I noticed that I wasn't really getting out of breath as quick, and I had way more stamina. I didn't have to take as long of breaks. It only took me a second to kind of stop, catch my breath, and then keep going. Like I've said in my past videos, I don't like to give everything to Orkambi and overthink it. I could have just been having a really good day, and that could have been the cause of that. Now, fast forward to October. I went on an amazing road trip with the one and only Tommy Danger, founder of the More Than Just Me Foundation that I volunteer for. We started out in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we had to make our way to San Diego. But we went the long way and did all kinds of awesome stuff along the way. One of those things that we did that I've been dying to do again was when we were in Colorado, we went to climb another 14er. For those that don't know, a 14er is a mountain standing over 14,000 feet high. Last November I went out to Colorado, and myself, Tommy, and my friend Aaron, we all climbed the 14er. And you know, there was no snow, it was pretty warm, it was basically just a really steep walking trail, but man, my lungs were burning within the first 10 feet. I started walking, and I remember looking at Erin and I told her there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. But fast forward, I made it to the top of the mountain, but it was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, just because once you get up to around, you know, 12,000, 13,000 feet, the tree lines start to go and the oxygen becomes, I mean, it's just not there. Now, when I did this climb, which was back in November of 2014, I had these little bottles. They're called Oxygen Plus. And basically, they say they have like 95% pure oxygen in it. Looks like a little hairspray bottle. You put it, you hit it, and you breathe in, and it jumps your oxygen up to give you a little bit of a boost. I had my pulse ox with me, and I tried it out, and these things were golden. You know, I think that's the only reason I was actually able to make it to the top of the 14er whenever I did it back in 2014. Fast forward to 2015. We're in Colorado. All the forecasts are saying there's going to be between 3 to 7 inches of snow. Now, that's doable. It's still going to be hard, but that's doable. We have all the gear to keep us warm, to keep the snow out of our shoes. No big deal. We wake up the next morning, we get ready, we hit the trailhead, and we get out, and as soon as we kind of start going on the trail, we notice really quick that instead of 3 to 7 inches, it's more like 12 inches and probably more than that in some spots. So now, not only am I dealing with the altitude climbing this mountain, I'm also, you know, falling up to my waist in snow. So I'm having to pick my legs up out of the snow with every step, which just, it burns your energy, it burns your oxygen, it just takes everything out of you. But the thing about it was, my legs were sore, my whole body was aching and sore from it, but my lungs, A-okay. And once we started getting higher up, eventually I slowed down because my legs, they were just dead. But my lungs, I could breathe crystal clear, I was barely out of breath. My stamina and my endurance before my legs gave out, I mean, it was crazy. Like, I was able to just plow through the snow, and I was keeping up with the pack, and I mean, I couldn't even believe it. I was just waiting on my lungs to give out and that be it. But I mean, they hung in through the whole thing. And it was me, Tommy Danger, a friend, Michael Rowe, who just got diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, and another one of our friends. And Tommy and our other friend Luis, they've been around me a lot. And I used to cough all the time. Like, I still have a habit now of clearing my throat, just because, I mean, it's a CF thing. You know, you feel the tickle, the mucus in your throat, you clear your throat. But when me and Tommy started this trip, I mean, we were sleeping in his van, which had outlets so I could do my treatments and everything. But the first thing he noticed was, after the first day or two, he kind of looked at me and was like, "Do you even cough anymore?" And to me, it feels like I cough all the time. So I didn't think anything of it. I figured he just really wasn't paying attention. But the more people I kept getting around, whenever we were climbing the mountain with Luis, he even told me, he asked me, he was like, do you cough anymore? Has this new drug, like, cured you? And it made me laugh because, I mean, of course, by no means Orkambi has cured me, but I keep having all these people asking me if I cough anymore. You know, where did my cough go? Why do I sound so good? And so I started thinking, I started asking people that I know, asking my mom, asking my girlfriend, and they were all like, you barely cough at all. Like, I used to cough through the night all the time. That's hardly at all. And if I do wake up coughing in the middle of the night, whether it's from, you know, a chest infection or getting too hot, I'm able to stop myself coughing, and rarely do I actually have to do a treatment to get myself to stop coughing. Before Orkambi, that was absolutely unheard of. Another thing that we did on this trip was after we climbed in Colorado, we went to the Grand Tetons. And we camped out there for days. I mean, it was cold, and it's basically just us in tents. And before Orkambi, anytime I would sleep outside, the conditions always kind of mess with me. You know, I'd wake up coughing in the middle of the night. And camping, you know, I never enjoyed camping because of that. But since Orkambi, I mean, I didn't cough at all. The weather was up and down. It snowed on us some, but I was totally fine. And now another thing, which this may not be related to Orkambi. This could just be luck of the draw. Before I set out on my road trip, my lung functions was 78%. That was my FEV1. We ended up driving through this road trip. We got to Seattle. We flew from Seattle to Alaska, and then back from Alaska to Seattle. On the way back from Alaska, I got probably the worst chest cold I've ever gotten in my life. Like, my cough, it was this horrible barking cough. My energy was dead. I was just snotty, and I couldn't sleep, and it was just absolutely torture. But after the trip, came back to North Carolina, and my energy still really wasn't back to where it was. I'm sure you guys know, after you get a really bad sickness and it hits you, it takes a while for your energy to kind of pick back up. I had my next doctor's appointment, and I was totally 100% prepared to go in the hospital. Like, I just didn't feel like me. I was bogged down, and I was like, you know what, it's been a good run, but, you know, it's time. I went in, lo and behold, I blow a 78% again. My lungs hadn't budged at all. And I don't know about you, but for me, whenever I get sick, whether it's a cold or whatever, my lungs always take a plummet, and it takes me a minute to get those back. And especially whenever I don't have energy, that's usually my telltale sign that it's time to go in the hospital. But now, my lungs, they didn't even seem to be affected by, I mean, this horrible cold that I caught from, I imagine, the plane ride back from Alaska. And again, I don't want to say that's Orkambi. You know, that could have just been luck of the draw, you know, me staying active, doing these climbs and everything, where my lungs were healthy enough to stay good. But that, before Orkambi, that rarely happened. If I got sick with anything, just the tiniest little thing, my lungs always plummeted, and it took me, you know, at least, you know, a couple good months of hardcore exercise and everything to bring them back up. But with this, I hadn't really been exercising because I was so low on energy, but my lungs didn't seem to be phased. And, you know, after the cold ran its course, my cough, it's still, I mean, it's not there. Obviously, I'm still gonna cough. I have CF, but I mean, when I really start thinking about it, after I asked everyone, that I really started, you know, just focusing on me, I do rarely cough. You know, I mean, still, I can walk by something and it makes you cough, tickles your throat, your airways, all that. But just the normal, the waking up is a big one. Because you know that first cough, whenever you first wake up in the morning, you have to do the first cough, and then your treatments whenever you do them after you've been asleep all night, it's usually just, it's hell on earth. Totally fine now. Like, my mucus isn't as thick, it's thin, it's easy to get up. And, you know, as far as FEV1, I haven't seen an increase in my FEV1. And my weight, I haven't had problems with my weight in a few years, so that's still just kind of bouncing around. Last visit I was 140, but I always kind of teeter between 140 and 160, but I like to keep myself 145 to 150, which is what I'm back at now. So I didn't see the increase in FEV1, I didn't see some crazy weight gain, and no, contrary to popular belief, I still taste salty. So everyone who said y'all don't taste salty after you've done this, I clearly didn't get that effect, side effect, whatever you want to call it. Yes, I just licked myself. Don't hate. But even though I didn't get these things that everybody was hoping for, being someone who likes to be active, being able to have this stamina, this endurance, this ability to just kind of pop myself back up and stay, to be able to climb a mountain with a group of people that have great lungs and have done this a million times before, and my legs give out before my lungs did, and I was able to keep pace with these guys for a long time, I mean, that's just blew me away. Which, it's entirely still possible that my FEV1 could go up from Orkambi. You know, the first doctor's appointment that I had after Orkambi, I was still having like side effects and symptoms from that, and so I was super tight-chested, so I figured they weren't going to go up. And then the next doctor visit after that was after I had this horrible cold. So it's still very possible that once I get my lungs back into the groove of things and I'm not getting sick and I'm not super tight-chested, that my lungs could pop up, they could skyrocket, I could gain a few, but you never know. But people ask me, they're like, you know, if you don't gain the FEV1 up, if your weight doesn't do some miraculous thing, you know, do you consider this drug a success or not a success? Well, to me, it is most definitely 100% has been a success. You know, I tell people all the time that living to me isn't about the numbers. I don't care if I live to be 40 or if I live to be 50. That's not my goal and will never be my goal. My goal is to be able to live 100% my life with the time I have. You know, I did that before Orkambi, but after it now, and just the less coughing, the easier it is to get up in the mornings, being able to climb mountains with this endurance. You know, I mean, it has changed my life. You know, I know for a lot of people it didn't do what they were wanting. They were wanting, you know, this miracle drug that's going to skyrocket their FEVs, take them off transplant lists, do the craziness. And for those people that it didn't work for, I mean, it bums me out. It really does suck. But for those people, you just have to, you know, keep your eye on the prize. There's even more coming down the pipeline. There's more drugs that are going to come out. And, you know, we're getting closer and closer to, I never want to say a cure. Because I hate when people say that. Oh, we're getting closer to a cure, guys! Shut up. I 100% believe that we are getting so close to a control, to a management, that it's going to completely reshape everything about cystic fibrosis, the life expectancy, what you can do with this disease, how people look at this disease. You know, I mean, look at Kalydeco, look at Orkambi. These are drugs that people thought were impossible, you know, 5-10 years ago. No one thought something like this could come out and have the effect that it does now. So, you know, it's people who this hasn't worked for, you know, it sucks, but don't get down. Keep it up, keep your treatments up, all the therapies, get active, and you know, something big's coming soon. You know, I know we hear it all the time, we read the articles, you know, something's coming in 5 years, 10 years, but when it comes, you know, it's gonna be big. And a cool fun fact, which you could kind of relate to Orkambi, but it kind of was going on before that, it has officially been 1 year and 6 months since I have been in the hospital. That means no PICC lines, no stays, no nothing. And the last time I have been out of the hospital this long, I can't even remember. I was in a pattern of going in the hospital 2 to 3 times a year. And then I got in a good headspace. I got my mental state right, which led to me getting my body right, which just kind of leads to overall health. You know, you have to see what you want. What you project, you will get back. You know, I know it sounds like a lot of new age phooey and all that, but I mean, I'm not the only one who's done that. I've had friends that have CF who've adapted that mentality, and their lungs have went up, or they've just gotten, you know, they've just gotten better. They have this motivation, and they're able to get out of bed, and they're able to go tackle these things that they never thought they could do before. That's another reason I say don't get down, because if you get down and your mental state gets down, your mental will always affect your body. That's just how we're wired as humans. So stay positive. You know, your positivity, that'll reflect to your whole body, keep you healthy, it'll keep you alive, and before you know it, a drug will be coming out that's going to absolutely change your life. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that kind of covered some questions that you've had about everything. Sorry, I haven't been giving updates. I figured after the month that would be it, but everyone's been wanting a 6-month, so here it was. Thanks for checking it out. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Feel free to hit me up on any form of social media. I'm always available, although sometimes I suck at replying. It'll take me a few days. I'm only human. Sorry. You guys take care. Much love. I'm out.